So you want to figure out how I calculate the podcast salary? It's actually probably a lot simpler than you think. At the beginning of every video, they tell us how much the podcast has made since its inception. And the podcast has been going since May 24th. So we just divide the amount that they tell us by the days that it's been since May 24th, which is the first day that they posted a video, and that gives you how many dollars they've been making every single day. And if you multiply that number by 365, that's the annualized salary of the podcast. What's up guys, it's Mateo here. I want to start this video out by saying thank you to all of you guys that subscribe. Hey, I'm the guy that keeps commenting on the Iced Coffee Hour. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. I'm uploading content twice every single week. So let's get right into this. To start, I know it's really unlikely that it'll ever happen, but I would love to be on the Iced Coffee Hour. I've heard a couple of you guys in the comments say so, and Graham, if you're listening to this, and I'd love to be there. I actually just live up north of Vegas. I'm in Reno, Nevada, so maybe when you guys fully move all the way down there, I'd be willing to take a ticket down and say hello. I've been doing a little chain in the comments calculating how much the podcast has been making, and I've been doing that every single week. Pretty much since the inception on my own. I've been commenting since episode 4. Let's take a deeper dive and look into the salary of the Iced Coffee Hour. So I showed you guys in the first part of that video of how to get an annualized salary of how much the podcast is making, which by doing that formula, we got $21,000 the podcast is already making. So I'm editing the video right now, and I just realized that when I originally did my calculations for the salary of Iced Coffee Hour this previous week when the episode came out, my number was slightly off. I have since re-edited my comment and fixed it. So in this video, whenever I say $21,000, I mean $24,000 because that's the actual calculated salary of the podcast right now. That's how much I was making back when I was still in high school if I were to work full time. Now, the second part of my comment is always about the hourly rate that the podcast is making. This is assuming that the podcast is a person working a 40-hour week. That's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that this is based off 40 hours. I'd be willing to put money on the fact that they are not spending 40 hours on this podcast every single week. But that is where I'm getting that hourly rate from, and congratulations, Graham, if you're watching this by any chance, on finally beating the minimum wage. I'm going to be tallying up until we beat the minimum wage on every single state. Through my calculations, this is also not including any taxes. I thought about calculating taxes a couple of times, but this isn't Graham's only stream of income, so taxes would be really hard to mess around with because with the write-offs that he does and state tax in California versus federal tax versus all of his property write-offs versus YouTube income and real estate income, it just gets really complicated really fast. Plus, I don't really have all the numbers, and I doubt that he's going to be that sharing with all of them. I'm going to continue giving updates on the minimum wage increases because we're almost to the cap of minimum wage in California. It's insane to think that you haven't even met minimum wage at a lot of states yet, but that's also assuming 40 hours, and I really doubt that those videos take you 40 hours. Just my little 2 cents commentary on it. I assume that they can't take more than 2 hours of actual filming time, and then depending on how heavy Jack's going on edits right there, that could be a lot longer, a lot shorter. And then you also have to factor in the amount of time that you take getting the guests. So I'm not sure exactly what their effective hourly rate is. But hourly rate is really just something that you're using to compartmentalize how much money you're making. Most people are used to an hourly rate when describing how much money they make. But really, if you want to be making money, you can't be working for an hourly rate. Graham's not really working for an hourly rate. He's building up an audience, and his effective hourly rate is going up. But that's not capped anywhere. You'll be capped off on how many hours you can work in a week and how valuable those hours can get if you're just working for an hourly rate. And right now, the hourly rate that I work at my little 9-to-5 job while I'm doing YouTube on the side is $14. I feel like by the end of the year, the Iced Coffee Hour is definitely going to overtake my hourly rate, so I'm excited to see when that happens. But now that I finished my real estate test, you guys might not keep up with that. I'm going to add a third section of the comment now, how much the podcast is making in passive income every single hour. So to figure out how much passive income the podcast is making every single year, we'll take last week's video as an example. If we take that 21,000 and divide it by 365 divided by 24, that's going to mean that the podcast is making approximately $2.4 every single hour of the day. Even while they're sleeping, that podcast is making money. And it's only growing from there. I scrolled back to one of my first times that I posted my annualization rate on episode 8, and they were only making $7,000 annualized off that. That has since tripled. So I got some numbers for you right here. On episode 8, they made $6,972 annualized. Episode 12, $9,568. Episode 15 went up to $10,800. Episode 18 went to $13,400. Episode 21 to $16,000. And the most recent episode at the time of me uploading this was $21,240. Now, while just listening to those numbers, you might think, oh, okay, so they're getting $3,000. They're gaining that much, but no, they're not gaining $3,000. That means that they're increasing at a rate of almost $1,000 every single week. And that is the power of YouTube right now. I think that the rate they're increasing is only going to grow faster from here on. The reason being, when you start up a YouTube channel, you start to get a backlog of videos, and that's really what they're starting to do. If you look at my comments on the past couple of videos, the rate that they're increasing is no longer just jumping up by 1,000 every single week. It's jumping up by $1,200, $1,400, maybe even $1,500 annualized across the entire year. Granted, some of that might be from some of the big names that they've had on recently with Andre Jick and Meet Kevin and Nate O'Brien. But some of that is also because they're getting a backlog of videos. So if someone finds the podcast, they watch the most recent video, and then they're able to go back, watch a video before that, and before that, and before that. I know when I personally start watching podcasts, I like to see everything that person has made. Now that they have that backlog of videos going up, the amount of money that they're making is only going to increase from here. So now that we've got a lot of the formalities out of the way, I can't say enough thank you, Graham and Jack, because the little shout out that you guys gave me didn't even plug my channel at all, but it made my subscribers increase by almost 40%, and that was awesome. I saw my views suddenly tick up like crazy, and this was really the kickstart that I needed, so thank you guys. And thank you for subscribing and joining our journey together, because this is going to be a ton of fun, and I have a lot in store for these next couple of weeks. And now that you're here, I want to encourage you too to start a YouTube channel, because the Iced Coffee Hour is just proof of product of how successful that you could be on YouTube if you really put your mind to it and how compound interest works. With that channel growing so rapidly, granted he has a catalog of other subscribers that brought him in over there, but it's proof of concept. Once you start a channel and start getting viewers in, you can actually start making money from that. You can start making a living off of YouTube. Alright, so I think we'll make it a little bit of a shorter video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to check the links down below. You can get an entirely free stock with the Robinhood, 3 free stocks from Webull, valued up to $1,600 if you deposit $100 on their trading platform, and you can get a $50 credit for signing up for the Discover card. I will see you guys next time when we talk a little bit more about housing and we continue our financial journeys.